is our last stand for New York. And there's only one option.
All right, guys. So once again, we got to talk about how progressive criminal justice reform is the biggest threat to this country, because this story right here is a prime example of how we're not interested in protecting law-abiding citizens. We're not interested in protecting them at all, right? The only people that we care about in this society are criminals, and that is especially true in these blue states like New York, in which a congressman, Mr. Lee Zeldin, was attacked and almost stabbed by a man, right, who walked on stage during one of his campaign events in which he ironically was talking about bail reform and basically tried to kill him, right, tried to stab him, okay, until law enforcement and other people that was surrounding him tackled the guy to the ground. And all of a sudden, just a few hours later, he was released. But before we get into that today, I have to pay the bills, which means that we have to hear a word from our sponsor, Bastion. I have been looking for a free speech platform that is kind of disconnected from our traditional internet infrastructure. And that is why today I want to introduce to you guys a platform that I have partnered with that provides a decentralized social media experience, a censorship-free social media experience that is built on blockchain called Bastion. I am now on Bastion. Because not only do I not want to be censored, I also don't want corporate America tracking my every move online, okay, and what I post, because they're trying to build a personal profile of you for nefarious purposes, okay? So, again, the answer to that is open source decentralized social media, and that is Bastion.com, a non-corporate cross between Twitter and YouTube built on the Bitcoin code. It doesn't require any personal data to sign up, and it runs on users' computers with open source code. So I've been using Bastion. Basically, it's like my platform that I use that is more decentralized, that is different from other traditional platforms like, you know, YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, Twitter. That is what Bastion is for me, right? It is a decentralized social media platform that I can have, again, just in case the big tech censors decide to go after some of these other platforms or go after me. And in my experience using Bastion thus far, I found other content creators on the platform who you guys may know or recognize. And it kind of feels like a cross between YouTube and Twitter. That's what it feels like. It feels like YouTube and Twitter had a baby, right? That's what it feels like. So with that being said, again, it doesn't require any personal data to sign up, so you can comment on Bastion freely because your identity is protected. You can use the link below on the video to get the app and follow me there. Bastion developers also say that everyone who comments under my videos on Bastion will get a gift of 2 Pocketcoin. That is an external token of Bastion. Get the link below, sign up, and follow me there. All right, so Congressman Lee Zeldin is running for governor, okay? He's running against Kathy Hochul, right, who's basically become the dictator of New York after Cuomo, and I would argue that she's an even worse dictator than Cuomo, okay? And they've been trading shots back and forth with each other preceding this attack. So I'm going to go ahead and play a news clip of this incident along with Kathy Hochul's response to this attack, and just a little tiny clip of kind of what happened, like the attack itself. But obviously, I can't show the violent parts because I want you guys to actually see the video, right? So with that being said, let's go ahead and roll that clip.
As heroes will be heroes again come January 1st. Our healthcare workers, our teachers, our law enforcement officers, our firefighters. We're fighting for our government. People are leaving the state because they look at Florida, Texas, Tennessee, and the Carolinas, and their money's going further there. They're feeling safer there. They're living life freer in these other states. You're still here. And this is our last stand for New York. And there's only one option.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Republican candidate for New York Governor Lee Zeldin was attacked during a campaign event tonight near Rochester. According to witnesses, Zeldin was giving a speech at a VFW in Perrington when an allegedly drunk man got on stage, started yelling, wrestled with him, and pulled out a blade.
The attacker was contained by a man in charge of the event. The attacker was arrested by the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. One witness with Zeldin saying that he was not hurt and went back on stage after the attack was over. Tonight, Governor Hochul tweeting about the attack, saying, quote, "Relieved to hear that Congressman Zeldin was not injured and that the suspect is in custody. I condemn this violent behavior in the strongest terms possible. It has no place in New York."
Yeah, so if you guys want to see the video, the full video, obviously is out there on the internet for you guys to find and see. But let's go ahead and read more about this because, you know, Kathy Hochul has come out here and condemned the attack, which, you know, for a Democrat, I got to give her credit for, even though that is like basic common courtesy. But we don't see that from Democrats nowadays. So I got to give her credit for that. However, her soft on crime policies, I think are what to blame for instances like this happening, especially considering how this man was released just hours later after trying to stab a Republican candidate for governor and a sitting congressman. It doesn't make sense. It's absolutely insane. So let's read about this. The man who allegedly tried to stab Republican candidate for New York Governor Lee Zeldin with a bladed weapon during a campaign stop on Thursday was released from jail within hours of his arrest on a felony charge, just as Zeldin had predicted. David Jucobonis, 43, from Fairport, New York, was arraigned overnight in Perrington Town Court on a count of second-degree attempted assault stemming from the attack on Representative Lee Zeldin, but was quickly released on his own reconnaissance. In a tweet after the violent incident in Monroe County, Zeldin, who is running as a tough-on-crime candidate against incumbent Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul, said he expected his alleged assailant to be back on the streets in no time. Quote, his words as he tried to stab me a few hours ago were, "You're done," but several attendees, including Esposito for New York, quickly jumped into action and tackled the guy. The gubernatorial hopeful tweeted early Friday, quote, "Law enforcement was on the scene within minutes. The attacker will likely be instantly released under New York's laws." Wow, the guy was right, right? But it didn't really take a prophet to predict that, considering how New York is soft on crime. Right? Because you have Democrats running the state and running some of these cities like New York City that is being run by criminals. Critics on Twitter reacted with a mix of incredulity and dismay at the news of the suspect's swift release. Quote, "This guy tried to stab a man running for governor and is back on the streets," Desi Killer, a GOP congressional candidate from Queens, tweeted, "New York has truly become a sick place run by criminals." Ben Dominic, editor-at-large at The Spectacular magazine, wrote, quote, "Attempt to stab a GOP congressman on stage, get released on your own reconnaissance. New York, everybody." Erin Perrine, former President Donald Trump spokeswoman, also weighed in, quote, "Really sad to see how much my home state supports criminals more than victims." Zeldin, a sitting U.S. congressman from Long Island, was delivering a stump speech about bail reform in Perrington, New York, when he was confronted by Jucobonis. Yeah, so again, that's ironic, right? You're giving a speech about bail reform, okay, aka about how the Democrats are soft on crime, and then all of a sudden, somebody attacks you, right? You get attacked, and then that person, because the state is soft on crime, right, and some of these Democrat-run cities are soft on crime as well too, gets released just hours later after trying to kill the man, right? I mean, if he tried to stab him, if he pulled out a knife, he tried to kill the guy, right? And I think that he should have probably been charged with attempted murder, but who knows? Okay, again, it reminds me of the Dave Chappelle situation out in Los Angeles, where the guy came on stage with a knife, right, and tried to tackle Dave Chappelle in what I believe was attempted murder. But, you know, hey, the Democrats that are running that city decided that, no, we're just going to charge him with a lesser assault charge, right? Again, it's kind of ridiculous, man. These people love criminals. They love criminals. They don't like law-abiding citizens. The 43-year-old man, who is reportedly an Iraq war veteran and was said to be drunk at the time, was seen on video jumping on stage and lunging at the candidate with an unknown weapon shaped like a cat's face featuring two blades. Quote, I saw that he was approaching the congressman, so I jumped up on the stage, a witness Joe Chinelli told the Post. After a brief tussle between the suspect and Zeldin, Chinelli, a combat veteran, tackled the aggressor to the ground. Chinelli told Rochester First that when he later spoke with Jacobanis and found out that the suspect had served in Iraq, he promised to get him help. Quote, when he said he served in Iraq, I got down, hands on my knees, and said, quote, you know, we're going to get through whatever you've done here tonight. You're going to get better and focus on that. You can contact me after this thing is done. Chinelli, who is running for the state assembly, told the outlet. Well, that's a pretty nice thing to do, right? Guy tried to stab a candidate for governor, and this guy decides that, you know what? He served in Iraq. I'm going to try to get him some help. Again, there could be multiple things going on here, right? This guy could be radicalized, right? He could be radicalized by the Democrats, which is something that we've seen, okay, happening across the country because of their irresponsible rhetoric. Or he could have some type of issue, right? He could have some type of mental health issue that he's going through. Jacobanis was then detained by a number of witnesses, including GOP candidate for Lieutenant Governor Allison Esposito. Zeldin was unharmed and resumed his speech after Jacobanis was led away by responding police officers. Later on Thursday, Zeldin told the Post via text he was okay and described the incident as crazy. Hochul will be facing off against Zeldin this coming November, condemned the attack on her opponent. Okay, so we already heard the statement from Kathy Hochul. And with that being said, again, this is just another example of how Democrat policies have consequences, okay? This guy tries to stab a sitting congressman and a guy running for governor of the state of New York, and he's released just hours later, okay? Again, I think that you should hold these guys just a little bit longer than a few hours, right? Just to make sure that, hey, this person is not a threat to society, an ongoing threat to society before releasing them back into the public, okay? But that's not what's happening in liberal states and cities like New York, right? It's not what's happening. It's not what's happening. What's happening is that criminals are running the state, they're running the cities, and they become emboldened to the point where they think it's okay for them to try to kill and assassinate politicians, which is what we just saw here, right? They become so emboldened, again, in states like California, where they think it's okay to try to stab and kill comedians like Dave Chappelle. Why is that? Because Democrats have been soft on them. They know that, well, if I try, right, if I do the attack, I'm just going to be out of jail in a few hours, right? They're going to give me some soft charge. They're not going to charge me with murder or anything like that. Even if you try to murder the guy, they're going to let you out because, hey, it is what it is. And if you got a super progressive DA like the guy out in New York City, they might actually charge the law-abiding citizen that was defending themselves during the attack, right? They might charge you instead for defending yourself. You're the criminal, right, for being a law-abiding citizen. That's just kind of how it goes in some of these liberal states and these cities, man. And again, this is why elections matter. Elections matter. All these people in these states that are suffering is because they voted for this. They voted for soft on crime policies. And this is what you get. You get attempted assassinations on politicians and comedians because nobody is safe except the Democrats who believe in the good guy with the gun protecting them, right? But not for everybody else. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.